Hey guys, I'm Allure Art, and today is a Saturday kind of deal of making a podcast. And rather what day you listen to it, it is all good. But I made this on Saturday, so I hope everyone's having a good day. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been on just different social media platforms during this crazy quarantine-esque crazy-ish COVID. Just been keeping priority of work busy, keeping sane with creating content, and just being busy. And for one of the things right now is that a lot of us are indoors as we should be in the sense. And if you got to go to work, you got to go out there, you have to do it. If you have to be out to do stuff, to go to the store and stuff, I get it. But other than that, it's just, we're just in this wild world right now. So, with that being said, today I want to talk about, creating content or just creating. I've received random messages in my different social media forums where you always ask, like, how do I go about doing stuff? I'm always wild because I'm always the person that's like, you're asking me, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, cool. Just, the Nike model, just do it. But I know it's not that easy. I know it's times that it's difficult. It's how things are, and you have responsibilities, you have life, you have the family, and you have jobs, which is that's all how our life is. And just again, priorities. So when people ask, like, how do I go about just creating a drawing, I wish it's really easy just to say just there to do it, but it took everyone wants to see the perfect answer, but there isn't any. One sees the broken glass that the person trolling the plates. No one ever looks at the person who, all the scuff marks, or what is it? There's an image where it shows a ballerina and they're all elegant and beautiful, but when they take off their ballerina slippers, you see the bruises and the scars and the blood and the toenails and all that stuff. Sorry, too graphical there, but it's true. We never look at that, but we just want to see perfect, and that's it. So what I saw today was a certain like text popped through, and it's like, I want to give up. I don't want to, I tried, and in, my opinion, and just mine, is this person, I didn't even know made stuff. So you have to, put it all out there. And I think what I ended up seeing is that they were reaching for something. And if that's what your goal is, I hope you got it. I hope you got that person that, answered you back or gave you that certain emoji that you needed to hear. But, I feel like a chump because I responded to it, basically saying like, hey, yo, you just got to keep going. And the person put like an age number, and for what I saw or try to understand is that they're not not even half their life. And what I mean by that is this person's not even, been on this earth that long, and they're like, they want to give up. And I feel like if you're a musician, or if you're an artist making illustrations, if you're writing poems, if you're screenplay, whatever, it all starts with self. And, for me, I make content for myself because I have to do it. I know there's times, people stop because priorities come through, but you always can make time. You can do 5 minutes. That's what everybody can go back to saying, is like, you could just put in 5 minutes of it and call it a day, but at least you did it for that day. I teach workshops, after school workshops for kids, and my little kids, I call them like knuckleheads, not to their face, but I just like nod my head and say, you guys. But the point to that, one of my students, one of my kiddos asked, what do you do when you're out of work? And then I tell them I draw, and they said, no, what do you do? I go, no, that's all I do is I draw. And to that is that it's just something in me, and the will is going, and you got to keep making stuff. So, back to my student, again, I don't call them knuckleheads, so nobody out there go out there and go crazy. I call them knuckleheads as I say it, as in, oh, you kids. So hopefully you guys have humor, hopefully. But I don't call them that. So anyways, I just basically answered my student by saying that that I just make artwork, and I relax, I watch movies, and if there's a TV show I try to, but my brain is always wired for my artwork. If it's not digital, it's traditional. And I mean traditional, it's like in a sketchbook, it's inking a sketch cover for a comic, making my style of a superhero or villain or some cartoon or video game that I'm influenced. I'm just always wired to make stuff, and I'm very grateful to be doing that, because I know there's certain things where some people don't have the idea to like create stuff, and for me, I'm just like, wow, you can make a bookmark, or you can make a cover, or outline something, or try and trace something, and just to do it. And some majority of the times it probably doesn't come out right, but the important thing is you did it, and you put it out there. And I'm of that believer of just creating, because next time when you go back in there to execute the drawing comes out more different than before, and it's because you did that from the previous, and you just got to keep chiseling away, and there's never ever gonna be that result where it's like I'm perfect, or you shouldn't think that way. You should always want to strive, and even if it's like it's not perfect, just go ahead and do it and put it out there. And I mean, we're only human, and I kind of wish more of our heroes that we look up to would step out more. But again, I guess that they have to have that complex. But I do hear more people stepping up and saying, hey, I had to hit a bunch of hits. I'm sorry, my analogy on sports is bad, but I did hear Michael Jordan say, like, there was times, majority of my hits, like with the free throw or whatever, I missed. But we always see his perfection from this guy and on the court, and he'd tell you, he's like, yeah, but you guys never see the mistakes. So I really, we need to get more of these guys out there and gals to be explaining that, hey, these are the don't give up. And I understand it more when I hear from kids and younger adults, but as we get older, I don't know if I'm like, I don't even use the word sympathetic on that, but I just like, maybe you're having an off day. Maybe if you take a nap or go for a walk or make that delicious sandwich. I really wish I could just focus on the sandwich part for the rest of this podcast, but I won't. Maybe another time. But I just think people older, just have to have a time to just say, I'm gonna step back. And I think the other thing is sharing stuff on social media. There's that double-edged sword. There's the people are rooting for you, and then there's the ones that want to see you fail. And when you post stuff, you're looking for that validation, and you don't get it. Your whole day is like ruined. And then there's the ones that say, oh, that's a great job, and that's beautiful and it's awesome, and get that caring. But sometimes we're not always going to have that person that's going to reach out for us. They're not going to give us the the high fives that we so desperately need. And yeah, I'm just I don't know. I just felt like right now, this time right now, especially, I just thought appropriate commentary and my 2 cents, not anyone else's. This is Aliro Art's 2 cents is, and Ramble is, hey, you just gotta just, what do you want to do, and what are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to be a bazillionaire? Are you trying to be famous, or or is this in you just to make it? Can you pick up a guitar and just, not give any sense of what people think, and you can just knock out a tune? Can you just write out a poem because you felt it, instead of like putting a dollar mark on it? I think if, as a creator, it should be in you. Like, I'm always going to make artwork. I always gonna make something. The wheel in my brain is always turning for ideas, and sometimes they're cool for people to get, and other times people aren't gonna get it. But I'm doing this for myself, and if you can come along for that journey and see that I made that, that's awesome, because I love getting a reaction out of it, and I love that people find something in it that talks to them, like with my character Alley Cat. I've always gotten some kind of response on his social media page where he doesn't talk, but he made that person smile for the day. And he doesn't speak my language, but it translated overseas, and it was like in France, and I was just wowed by that, just because that's my objective with him is just to, he's my version of Snoopy. And whatever the great creator, cartoonist Charles Schulz was trying with his characters was, I believe, and I could be wrong, a lot of that is autobiographical, where he did have a dog like a Snoopy, and of course he's kind of Charlie Brown. So for me, Alley Cat is me, or I would love to be more like. And when I create this, he relates to people, and I don't say I could relate more with people, which I really wish I could, but I think the character of the cat definitely talks more, and I love it that he has an audience for both the young and the young at heart. I love that my students, boys and girls, they just find him funny, and it helps them with their artistic journey in a way, rather it be like once our programs are over, they go ahead and they move on to another fantastic adventure, and it's cool. And there's always kids in my class that ask, can I make Alley Cat a girl? Is Alley Cat a girl? Alley Cat can be a boy or a girl. Alley Cat be purple. Alley Cat can be green. He could be anything. And when they say that to them, it gives them that sense of like they like an approval. And when I hear this person that posted today reaching, he's not a child, but he's an adult, and he's just like needs to be told. And I really, you really want to tell that person, if they are looking for that, or we all are, it's just like, you are worth it, and your values are, but we have to tell it for ourselves. I feel like, something about that person as a kid, just didn't get that. And I would say for myself, I didn't really get the motivation of you're going to be an artist when you grow up, because I didn't have it around me. As a kid, I didn't know what a cartoonist was back in the day. I just knew to draw. And then as far as I could remember, in grade school, the only thing I knew about artists were architect. And of course, you always get shot down with, oh, you have to be good at math, and I wasn't. And if only we had that kind of support. I can't say I wanted to be an architect, but that's what I thought it was. But about that, I just think back to this person is like, they just need that motivation. So I hope this person, they will get through this. I hope they do make stuff, and I hope I could see it so I could give them a big old comment and say, keep up the great work, because we're all in this marathon. And I heard a great somebody was talking about in their comment board, where it's like, it's not being creative, I'm gonna butcher it, I apologize, being creative is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You have to keep going. I'm certain I messed that up, but you have to sometimes work slow, sometimes you have to work fast, sometimes, but trying to rush just to get to that spot and get that approval, is it helpful? Does it work? Or are you going to keep going regardless if you win or lose? You just got to keep at it. And I will say, there's plenty of losses that I've had where I just said, cool, I'm gonna get back up there. One time I was offered to submit my version of the Muppets for a comic. And in my comic, how I drew it in my style, I did my best. I said I did it. I turned it in, and I just said thanks for the opportunity. And I saw that I didn't get it, and I was like, hey, you tried, but you weren't a fit. And I was like, all right, cool, as long as I tried. And that's what I think what people should walk away with that. And I remember someone posting that it was a waste of their time because they thought that they were had that look and promised, and hey, you know what, it just doesn't work that way. So if you have that sense of like, oh, it's not gonna work out for me, you should also have that sense of like, I want to say is like, be appreciative. And they don't see that, and that's for them to work out, and that's their things that they have to go through. But you get up and you do the next thing, and then the next thing goes on. And I've had fortunes of being able to be on apps or commercials, TV shows, and those are great, and it's awesome. But I think for the part of us, it's our failures, we should always just be consistent. So I don't know where the direction is, where the world is, where we feed off of negativity or being a certain way, and I can't grasp that. And then we're looked at our our influencers as not having flaws, and I think that just sucks. It's we want to be they put them on pedestals, but then at the end of the day, they have flaws, and they don't want to admit to those kind of issues. So I really think for a creative, we just let people know, like, hey, just keep at it. But again, I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. And for myself, my way is, if you ask, I answer. But at the end of the day, it's all up to you. It's all up to you, pal. And for you, I hope that you find that clarity. I know it's hard, but at the same time, give yourself some credit. Give yourself that pat on the shoulder that you're fortunate enough to get up every day, and you're not making artwork like the person that you envision, or music, or movie star, but you got up the day, and for that day, just try to reach for it, go for it. Like, where do I, they'll say, look, well, I don't know where to start, and it's like, well, I think for people is putting it out there on your platform. And if you have the platform to say you can't do it, you should have a platform to at least share what you're doing, if that makes sense. I'm just at awe, and I'm not the type to look for an argument. I'm not looking to down anybody. I just, use this person as an example because it's just, we all have these journeys that we're going through, and my journey, I don't know where it's gonna go, and all I could keep doing is keeping my head up, being motivated and learning and always being a student. And for my kiddos, I look at them for inspiration for the stuff that they like, and I try to incorporate it in my work, and just to give back. And for them, it's 2 hours of my time that I feel that gives them the sense that they can make stuff, and it's beautiful. We passed out sketchbooks, and I found out I have a third grader who's a poet and wrote 3 pages in their little sketchbooks, and I was just awed and wowed. I've never written really a poem. I think I did once, but this was a third grader, and when I wrote what I wrote was in high school, and I got shot down by a teacher, and the teacher just kind of gave me the mental scarring of, you're not good at this, instead of, could have said something else, but a different generation, and I know that's not accepting, and that's a thing that for us, we should always big up everyone in a way, and we're not always going to, but I always feel that way. So for my kids, I'm very happy to see that they're creative, and I really wish this person who did this post today about they give up and trying hard is bad, and it's just not for them. It's it's very unfortunate, but I would say if you are looking and you're asking and you wanna my opinion, take a break. And I know for me it's hard to take a break because I'm always thinking about making art. I'll take a break. I play retro video games. I'm a kid of the 80s. So I played a lot of Nintendo NES, and I know how to play ROM NES games. So I'm always searching for retro games. So that's my jam away from art. So it's something I get to do and create and play. And not that I create the games, I'm finding the games and I'm able to play them. So that's what I'm at. Read something. I go through different books. I've been on a search of like 90s image comic books that I remembered in grade school, high school, and I find a lot of that. I find it funny now, but it was definitely something I grew attracted to when I wanted to do into comics. And how I draw now is not how I wanted to draw when I was in high school. I wanted to draw the super muscles and the babes of how just how 90s comics were. And if you guys know the motive on those comics, that's what I thought it should be. And antennas and pouches and muscles on muscles of muscles. So I look up those, and it's really funny, and it takes me back. So that's one of the things I do to just to break away from focus so much on comics. I write stuff out. I write on my vision board. I write on my notebook. I know when stuff has to be done. I know when things have to be worked out. Sometimes people have to write those out. I mean, we all need like a life lesson plan just to keep us in check. We don't always have the privilege of somebody behind us to tell us those things. And again, I know that back to this person, we got to be our own cheerleaders in a way. We have to. And as much as I want to root for this person, he has to be his own rooter. And a couple of my influencers that are like comic creators, one of the guys mentioned was, hey, I look in the mirror when I get up and brush my teeth and shave. That's the person I have to push for the day. I'm able to get up out of bed, clean up, get dressed, and go on. And this person, I hear not lots, but I hear people wanting people to tell them stuff, and it just doesn't work that way. If you want to lose weight, it's not your spouse's fault. It's not your girlfriend or boyfriend's fault. It's not your family. It's not your friends. It's you. If you want to drop pounds, you can do that. If you want to write a book, then do it. It's not your kids. If anything, they should be your motivation. Be like, hey, look what I made. And, that would be awesome. But, I think it all starts with self. And I know my podcast, they go left and right, but my point about this is basically, self and being and creating, and again, it's just my 2 cents because it's my podcast. We all have our demons and things that we're fighting, but at the end of the day, your first cheerleader is you. You have to have those pom-poms. You have to be the one that says that you do it. But I know we all have our down times, and at times I feel down about what I do, and I get people to say, "Oh man, you're always cheerful and you're always joking." But I do have that, and I am a human being, just like those human beings that you admire. They're not supers, and if they are, that's amazing, or robots. But the truth is that they just don't show their flaws, and I'm okay with showing my flaws. I'm okay with that. I'm okay when I get to school and I teach a lesson plan or the day to make something. Some my kids aren't gonna dig it. They're gonna find it boring, and it's like, hey, this is what we got to do for the day. But end up later on, they use it, so it helps out in other times. But for myself, just speaking on that, I just really, feel like rather be my teaching or my art or whatever, or Alley Cat, you got to keep going. You got to keep continuing, and you have to have some kind of motive. And I just want to say is that if your motive is money, that's cool, but it is hard work, and there's no easy way about to say it. If it's about building an audience and you're not building an audience, then you're not trying. You have to put your all into it. You have to be creating. You have to suck at creating. Like, I have to say it in that way where it's like you gotta draw 1,000, what's that word or that saying? You have to draw out bad drawings to get through that picture. You gotta sculpt through that sculpting to get to that perfect, piece of art. You gotta write to do that. You have to play bad music to get to that good song. You need to do that. And being I keep rethinking in my head of how this person says life is it's hopeless, and it's like, I want to flat out say, I'm like, hey dude, I never saw you make anything, so why are you giving up? And I can't say that because we're in this time in social media where all you're trying to do is help a person, and it comes off as you're attacking. And again, I think because it's my platform and I'm just speaking for myself, is if I wrote that, I believe personally, if I wrote what that person wrote, no one would say it, no one would care. They wouldn't think anything of it. Why? Because I'm in my head, I am the black sheep, so I can't write that. I just got to keep going and doing. So, but also, I don't know. this guy should value his worth more. He should be wanting, like, to say, hey, this, I am worth this, I am gonna do that, and he should just do it. And I don't know. I don't know. When I hear people say, "Oh, it's easy for you," I say, "Yeah, but I went through a bunch of sketchbooks. I went through a bunch of rejection. It took me hours to learn Photoshop and Illustrator when people were out partying, and I'm not looking for that sad violin song. I'm just saying that this is what it was. You're being in a relationship. Hey, I lost, relationships where it just wasn't working out because they just felt that I should stop with my art, my passion, and I can't fault them. This is something that I just had to keep going, and for me, I gotta, I pat myself on the shoulder and say I gotta keep going because I see these older relationships, and I see them now, and I'm happy they're moved on, but whatever their person they're with, their spouse, that those people aren't doing what they want to do, and you kind of like say, hey, weren't you a musician? And like, oh, I gotta stop because I gotta grow up. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Am I a kid then? Am I living in my fantasy world because I want to keep making my artwork? I am an adult, I pay my bills. I'm just not like that person, and I think it's the individual. So if it's if you can find somebody that follows what you do and understands, and that's what your passion. And I'm not saying that to be a lazy bum and not trying, but still, it's just how it is. And I chose this road. I chose the road of wanting to make art, and if I could find someone to be with that understands what I do, that's cool too. And I'm not saying that that's what it is all about. It's about compromise and whatnot. But if you're with somebody that tells you not to make artwork, they got to get the pink slip. They got to say, hey, I got to go, and you got to let them know and keep going. And I love all my previous relationships. They're all cool. We cool. It's just that, hey, it just didn't work out, and that's it. So, but that's just that of explaining. But for me, talking about self and passion and whatever, I don't know. It has to be in your DNA. Like, I feel like my DNA is in me, is my art. When I leave this earth, it's gonna be the artist, that guy, that artist. He made artwork. It's gonna be there because I put in so many hours and so many years that this is what I know. And hearing stories of Picasso, and I'm not Picasso, but him living up to his old age, being on his bed and asking for a pencil, and that was it. He passed. That was it. He was doing that, and I want to be like that. And it's not to be morbid or anything like that, but I want to be making artwork till the wheels fall off. And again, I'm not making this as anything like sad or whatever, but it's in me. So I hope that you that are listening, that are asking of like, what is our motive and what is our thing to do, whether it be family or your spouse or whoever, I hope that you are fortunate enough to have that support. But sometimes it's gonna be you and you alone, and that's fine and it's okay. But for me, I'm grateful to have people that support me. I am grateful to have a platform to be able to talk to people with my artwork, and I continue on. I am grateful to have these after school workshops where I could teach something with the value of creating, not so much of a technical aspect of using a what's the word I'm looking for? Using like certain tools. My classes are all about, being creative. So that's my thing. So I've had students that came back that said, "Oh wow, I remember your class and they were fun." And that's what it's about. For me, it is, because I had teachers that were great and I had teachers that weren't. So I just want to be that person that said, "Hey, he showed me I could do this and I could do it." So that's what I wanna leave with that in that aspect. And as far as like creating my character Alley Cat, and I just feel like with him it's sky's the limit, and it's consistent. And I'm just using Alley Cat as a example. He's either a toy or a shirt or a notepad design. You just got to keep at it. And when I hear people say like I give up, you got to find your audience. You have to find what is it that you would want to share about your idea and character. And I don't know. I just wanted to say that and express that there were so many things right there that I was just talking about with my art, my teaching, my support. And at the end of the day, it's me. It's me that gets up in the morning and makes my bed and starts the day with my art. And it's me that goes to bed thinking what my art has to be for the next day. And you have to keep going. You have to be consistent. You have to keep, a goal in mind. It could be tiny, it could be big. I would encourage to think your goal should be an idea that you would never expect, and you just gotta go. And it could be so wild that even if it's not possible, at least you have it in your thought process. And I do believe in putting material out so the universe can see it. I believe that people are affected about what you do or say, and I just want people to be motivated and create. And I'm seeing more creators. I'm seeing more people make paintings, and I'm seeing people put stuff up more that before, a couple of years back, they would always come to me, and now I see them and now they're creating. So I applaud you guys. I'm glad to see that, because we need more art in this world. We need more creators. We need creators that make stuff for ourselves and not so much of being a clog in some machine. And I understand you have to have those jobs, but you should make something for yourself. Even if it's a review, if it's like, just to make it so it's more so for yourself. So, be creative. Always be learning. Always be, consistent. I always go back to thinking of the word consistent, because it's the truth. You have to be, making stuff. And like I said, till the wheels go off, I want to be drawing. I want to be making stuff. I want to fill up books, and I want to make books. And I look forward to you guys seeing the new books that I come out with, and projects that I make, and the ideas. And I look forward to seeing what you guys create and what makes you motivated. And hopefully you guys can reach out to other people that need to hear it. And we listen to so much smear these days, more so because everybody has a platform. And that's funny because I have my own platform, but use it for a positive instead of scaring people or giving them a fear. What if you could just give them positivity and motivation and certainty that they can do it, even if they can't. You want to be an astronaut and you're 40 years old, try your best, keep going to go for it. Why? Because they say sky's the limit, but there's foot marks on the moon. So you gotta keep doing that. You have to keep consistent. And it sucks that the other thing that's bothersome is like ageism. You have to be a certain age. I get it. You gotta be a certain height, or you have to have this agility to play basketball. I am not gonna go out and say I'm gonna be Michael Jordan, because it's just not in me to do that. But if a person that has a determination but doesn't have the height or whatever, good for them. At least they tried. They tried the Rudy effect. Dating myself, I don't know, was that an 80s movie or whatever? But you know, the guy wanted to play football and he got to try it. So good for him. Be Rudy. For me, I just keep going. You know, I always wanted to just make comics. I make comics. Then I got into storyboarding. Then I got into character design. Then I got approached for commercials. Then I did stuff for TV. And you have to believe more ideas than just one, and focusing on one idea is cool, but try to think out more. And when I say that, I say it in the sense of like when I hear people saying I give up, but there's that line, and I find it funny, but I wouldn't use it because I have a cat, Alley Cat, my character. I heard one of my mentors say there's a plenty of ways to skin a cat, and I tilt my head because I'm thinking in a thought balloon in my head, Alley Cat next to a Gillette razor, and he's like shaved, and he says don't even go there. So that's what I think. But people, there are different ways to make stuff. Just because you see me do it this way, maybe it works for you differently. Maybe it works for people differently in the sense of like, I gotta approach it this way because I know how to use the internet better than Laurel Art, or I have a staff that could help me and I could do this way faster and use better vocabulary than he does. So that's cool, and hey, I applaud you on that, and hey, that's I'm cool with that. But I think for yourself, you have to be I don't know, I'm just stumped at words right now. I just hearing the word give up, and you know, saying that you can't. It's just that did you really try? Did you really put yourself out there? You know, we all have a timer. We all do. How long are we on this marble, this blue marble? Are you putting it all out there, or are you just, you know, waiting away and wanting people to say, hey, you did great? Because you're going to be standing by your window storefront the whole time, and you probably won't get that person that tells you you're a great artist, musician, screenplay writer, or whatever, and it just won't. But in the meantime, you got to have like I give no thoughts of being that person of a care, if that makes sense. Like, you just got to make it. Just do it and move on to the next thing. Do it, move on to the next thing, and keep going. And it sounds difficult, and I know it does because I feel it and I've gone through it. But at the end of the day, because you know the next day, tomorrow's going to be better. I know Sunday's going to be better than today, which is Saturday, and the next day, and the next day, and the next month, and the possibilities, and you just got to keep going. But if you're sitting there and you say you give up, and did you really try? And I really want to write that, but I can't because that's not my platform. Because this is my platform. I could say it, but for that person, and in this day and age, we're all sensitive on stuff. And I get it. Heck, not everybody's going to like my art style, and I'm cool with that. Why? Because I like my style. I like the music. I listen to a variety of music, and I could point to each of those varieties that I like. I know these people aren't going to dig it. I like some country music. I can't name them, but you know, I could be like, hey, that's cool. Hey, Kenny Rogers. See, I did name one. It could be rap. I know people that don't like rap music and they don't like certain rap artists, and I love rap. And I know there's certain rappers that I love that they hate, and I get a kick out of it because I know they're not going to listen to it, but it's me and it's greedy for me, so I get to enjoy it. I know those people that like metal. I'm not really as familiar with different metals, but I love it. And it's like, it's for me. It's, slow jams, 80s rock. I love different music, but I know not everybody's going to, like it. So back to the art thing, you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Well, my sister doesn't like tea, so I can't use that. Or can I? So, not everybody's going to like it. You got to be okay with that. And I think part of your journey as a person that's living is got to be accepting of that. I know it. I know that there's people that I just don't get along with. I just don't have anything to say to them, and I move on. Why? Because it's wasted energy. It gives nothing out. It doesn't make anything for the next person. But, for me, I'm just like, cool, all right, and move on. And that's it. I can't have people live in my head that are, they don't value me, and I don't value them, so whatever. So you got to just keep going and move on. And I really wish there was just a simple thing for people just to be creative and ta-da, everybody's successful. But it's not. We all are. I think this is what makes us wonderful in this world. Black, brown, yellow, red, green, every color, every shape, every size, every style. That's great, because we all, and to me in my head, I don't want to be doing what everybody else says. I want to be doing what I think is cool. And if it's not a failure, or if it is a failure and it doesn't work out, then hey, I'm cool with that. I love that. But I think everybody wants to, and let me rephrase that. I think the people that try, they say they tried and they don't. They just see one direction, but they don't look the other direction. And I think, you should be doing that. I don't know. I'm just wanted to say that to say, you have to keep going. You have to do stuff, and it's okay for failure. It's okay for things that don't go your way, because the next time around you're gonna know better. And I think that's the best way. I don't think if there's the word failure. I think that you tried and you try again next time. I've done 3 successful Kickstarters. I am so excited about that. Most grateful to be creating projects that I work on. Some of them are collaborative, which is awesome, and to some are self. That's cool. And for me, when I do these projects, I imagine being the person, the guy in the boat, that if it's sinking, I have to be the last person. I have to see my projects through. And I know a lot of us just say, I can't, and that's it, and then they give up on life. But, there's people that create stuff, and you're looking at them, you're rooting for them, and they say, no, I can't, and that's it. And so, no, you're not done. You didn't see your boat through being, in the water. I keep thinking about that, and it's like the boat is still floating. It's like, I'm gonna go over here, and it's like, I've heard people that did projects where they can't deliver because their books didn't come through for some weird reason. But you can use other methods. If you had hardcover or paperback products, give people PDFs. And it's so weird that you say that and they look at you and they say, why would I do that for? So you can give people something to enjoy while your books come in, or work around issue instead of saying I give up. There's so many things. There's so many ways to be creative and do stuff. And I think thinking that it's one way and their favorite creator does this and that. They have a team and it's cool and it's great. But sometimes you got to do stuff by yourself. I do stuff a lot by myself, but it's a thing where I have e-commerce and print on demand, and that where I just trial and error. And I think a lot of people are afraid of error. They are, and you got to just shake that out of you. You got to get it out of your body. And I know it comes back because it comes back to me all the time. And you just got to keep going. I have to make another crowdfunder and another Kickstarter, and I have another one to follow after that. But I don't know how it's going to go. It might not be successful, knock on wood it does. But as long as I tried, hey, I did try, and that's all I could say I've done. And, you know, I think for these people that give up, I'm stuck at words, because after reading that, I can't imagine going on social media and saying I give up art. I give it up. I have to have a really good reason, and I would have people knocking on my door ready to put me in my place to say that I put all these years into making art that I just stopped. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that. I'm always creating and motivated and doing, and I'm passionate, and you gotta do that. You gotta make something. You gotta make something to, man, it's gonna be corny to say. You gotta help humanity. You gotta help people around you. You gotta make something to make this world better, and you know, we need that. And hearing a person say I can't because I give up, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird world that we're motivated by negativities and naysayers, and we champion the dum-dums, and instead of the people that want to help humanity in a way. And yeah, I'm just, that's my spiel for today. That's my thing where I'm thinking about. I am working on pages for the new Power Punch book. We're getting that done. Still teaching. I'm doing that. I'm doing a lot of freelance and keeping busy. Why? Because this is what I do, and I get up in the morning and I'm excited to make artwork, and when I go to bed I think about the next day, and I really hope that would be something that helps motivate people, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it is, even if you could just sit there and make something, just do it. And I know it's hard. Maybe the living situations may be something, but you find a way. You hear those stories about celebrities that, you know, living out of a car, you know, sitting in a cafe and doing all these things. They kept going. You know, I've heard people say I can't because I have kids. I would just imagine having kids would motivate you more. I don't have children, but I have nieces and nephews, and I want to show that I could do this and it could help, and maybe be something that they can be in their journey. Not to say you got to be artists, because, you know, whatever. If you want to make art and you could, and I know I have artists in my family, that's great. But I think just saying, for as an example, as being someone that makes stuff. My friends, I have friends that make art. They make art. That's great. That's encouraging. I love that they do it. That's it. And they make music, or if they're writing a book, that's awesome. I need more friends that make stuff. I need to hear more people do stuff, and I have a lot of awesome cartoonist friends that make stuff too, so I'm always wild about that. So keep them coming. Let's keep this going, because I need motivation like I'm being motivated for other people. So I just want to wrap this up by saying thank you guys. I'm Allure Art. My work is on allureart.com. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can check out my pages, and you can see that I make my work and I'm always consistent. And I hope you guys are consistent too. I am getting the little beeping on my phone that says the maximum recording is almost there. So I'm just going to wrap that up and say I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are healthy. I hope you guys are being motivated. Let's keep being motivated, and let's keep making stuff. And I just want to say thank you. I'm Allure Art, and I will be posting more soon. Okay? Peace out. Love you guys. Bye. Hey guys, Allure Art here, and I am talking about today's audio about how to, not so much how to, but in this day and age of needing to know how to, like, say, do you need big businesses, and of course to use your business for like Jump Point for like publishing, whether it be musicians or publishing a book, or getting into bigger environments where your work can be seen, which is always awesome. But in this day and age, and starting Jump Point would be not needing to rely on certain, in the sense of a publisher, where how much of the work can you do, where you can create content, having a platform where you are, say, crowdfunded. And the thing that I see and lately has been popping up a lot is we have like these awesome stories of these different ways of making a living, making your print, making print on demand, volumes, big and small, or one item made and then it's delivered to the customer, the content. So today, speaking on that, I just want to it's more like exciting. It's nothing bad or anything like that, but I think the part is we need to be more aware that we have more control and more options, opposed to having that fantasy that, to be signed to a label or publisher, which is cool and it's exciting. And I think the thing that I want you to walk away with, and what I'm trying to say with my rambles, is you need to be able to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just to see that you're more valued, and to be able to have more out there. I don't know, this is just a, to see yourself create, that you don't need, like if you don't make it into the publishing scene with that publisher that you dream about, do you just close up shop and end what your goals are, or will you take those losses and go with it and make something? So as an example, in this day and age of creating like a book, like a market, we have like print on demand. We have just throwing out examples like Lulu and all these services. The one that I look at a lot is the Amazon Printing. I actually got my Kickstarter book onto Amazon Printing, and it's been really cool as a workshop instructor. I teach at two different schools, kids making comics, and one of the projects is like looking at activities. So to incorporate my Alley Cat coloring book into this format, now my schools are able to print on-demand books, and they get the books fairly fast. So it's one of those things it's very cool to see, and it's exciting that for me to wait to someone to open the door for me. I just went ahead and did it. During the process of putting the book together, me not being very well educated in learning how to format, as an illustrator, you think that you should know how to use all these tools, but not everything works as planned, and it's trial and error. And actually I find that stuff more exciting because I get to learn more about the software that I use. So for anybody who feels that way, everybody feels that, but when you see it printed, it is definitely a real awesome feeling. And I just feel like we are in this day and age where the product can now be manufactured and sent to the customer, and you don't have to order big catalogs or amount that would sit in your living room or your studio, and using it as furniture or firewood. I remember before a lot of this stuff was going on, I remember early self-publishing comics books that required a print run, one, to only print in black and white because in color it would be way expensive, and two, the black and white books was still high price, but you just had to print out a certain amount. I could never wrap my brain around hearing like you need to have over 10,000 prints to make a print run, and I had no concept of that. And for me to now print on demand, and minimum amount is probably like 25 for a printer, but even more so, like I'm not trying to plug people, but certain printers you can go ahead and just print one copy and it works out great. So this is a good time right now as a creator owned to be making content, and more so that you don't have to rely on big companies. And when I say that, I still think in some advantages they open doors, which they totally do, and their fan base and everything. But when you're starting off, you really can do a lot of the legwork, and you actually learn more about how things are run behind that curtain in the Wizard of Oz, and where you learn about like editing, learn about your audience, and it's 100%. It's you, your work, and the audience. And if you could cut out that person, that middleman, it's even cooler. But yeah, and it's just, I just keep going back to right now, there's no excuse why you shouldn't be able to. You can make stickers, you could put artwork on shirts, and for music you could have it up on platforms. Even podcasting, talking right now, I'm talking to you guys on my podcast, and even the Say podcast is kind of funny to me because I don't see myself as that, but it's to have this platform to share. I know there's people that always ask questions. I do get phone calls, I do get text, I get always asked like, hey, what do you use, what is this and that? If you ask me, I'm happy to answer. Things that I do at shows, what are strategies? I have a better chance at explaining right now than back in the day. You had to wait something printed out or word of mouth, because this is where we are. We are in this kind of fast technology. Is it the Jetson world that I would wish for? No. Dog walking and a sassy robot that laughs at me. That would be cool. We love you, Rosie. But In compared to what it was, it's just very interesting. And everything's cut directly, everything gets directly towards you more. Even your payout, you don't have to wait. The time gets a little bit, track time gets to you faster. I'm talking about like as in for like Venmo and PayPal and Zelle and all that stuff. So I just see things where hey, I would love to draw Spider-Man. I really do. And one day I will. One day I will have an art piece where I could say, hey, that was published and blah, blah, blah. Until then, it's fan art. But in the meantime, I have my own character and I will keep going with it. And one day I can get that up there so they could say, hey, I could see you draw like that. So with big publishing and whatnot, you can make your own in the meantime and then print and have that audience and just keep going with that. Today's ramble, I feel like a ramble, but there's always truth to it, is never feel discouraged of you can't. If a person says, I'm not really a great artist, as long as you try it and do it and get it printed. Something about seeing it, your product arrive at your front door in a box, it's crazy cool because you have this product that came out of your brain and was manifested, and now it's you could take it to bookstores, you could take it to art shows, libraries, and Comic-Cons and whatnot, and it's that print on demand. But definitely this creator owned market is needed. We need that, and we shouldn't have to look at having some publisher to go tell you have to do this. And hey, it's their house, their rules. That's great. But in the meantime, you should make stuff. As a creator, you should want that. You should want to make as much as you can. Reach for the stars. Get your work animated. Get it printed. Get it made of 3D, rather plastic or a teddy bear. The technology, it's there. It's you reach out. There's people around the world that will offer this service, and I'm going with that. I want to see my mascot Alley Cat and all these forms. And I have a vision board. I mentioned one before, but I always have a vision board of seeing. There's a list of things that I want to see my character appear as, and he's on shirts, he's on pens. He's 3D, and the list is still going on, and because of that, that's the creator own, and as well as the having this this offer to work with a smaller publisher or printer to help get that going, and with the help with your customers and fans that believe in your product. You don't need big companies. And again, I'm not dissing, I'm not saying anything bad about that, but for a person who thinks only one way in the door, there's a window, there's all these ways to get in and around. And I saw this one writer crowdfund his book, and he made quadruple what he was. I don't even want to say quadruple, it's even more that he made, and it's awesome because of his fans, and he didn't rely on a publisher. He's probably signed to a publisher, but to be able to do this on his own, more power, because that's cool, and that only pushes his brand more so. And I've worked with people that have done that we or I would work on a project, and they would see us crowdfund it, and they would ask, hey, can you take down your crowdfunding so we could promote? And it's like, well, wouldn't it make more sense that if we kept the crowdfunding going to build the audience to go to your publishing to see as well, and maybe they'll even buy from your other product, and they had blank looks and like didn't understand, and afterwards they're like, oh, that does make sense. So it does benefit everybody, but everybody sees things in some sort that it doesn't benefit them in the long run. So if I were to be picked up by a publisher, and this is a thing just to think about, this is like, there has to be something on that table to offer why I want to take down my product off of a crowdfunding, because in that crowdfunding, I have an audience that probably can't make it to another site. Maybe they don't use the Kickstarter or the Indiegogo or whatever, but they only use a certain method of going to an actual location and to pick up the item and whatnot. That's just an example. I feel like these day and ages of creating content, you should be able to have that option and be encouraged that you should want to work with other platforms. The platforms just open up more doors, and I think that the old way of thinking is like, this is the only way. And I know a lot of adults that kind of still see stuff like that, and it's not. Things are changing, things are going rapid, and you have to go with it. You have to see that there is not this way. It might work for other people, but for other people that see this, having this open source network, you can be in this field where you might not stand next to those bigger publishers, but you have enough fan base that believe in you as that, if that makes sense. And even those creators that still aren't publishing like deals, there's some people that do crowdfunding, and I think it's so cool. One of my mentors, I've seen how he makes his artwork, is the guy who creates Spawn, Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane created a Kickstarter for one of his toys, and the toy, it wasn't that he made a toy and used that and people are like, oh, he's already a millionaire, why does he need more money? That's not the point. The point is he's using this market, and how I see it is he's using this market because he knows there's audience there that probably can't get to his other platform. Granted, it was at stores or it was at his online, but if you have a community that's in that world, he brings his audience over to them, and then two, he builds in even more so, if that makes sense. And that's what I saw with that writer who super quadrupled his Kickstarter and made this amount, and people are like hating on him of like, yo man, you already have money, why are you here? And it's like, dude, it's not about the money. And it's crazy to say it's not about money. I know things are about money in that sense, but he just opened up the door. The list of people that chimed in these comments and saying like, I never heard of him. You heard of the dude now. You know who he is now. And you gotta respect that, because that's what it is. It's a different platform. Connecting this with people believing that there's this one way. This writer now steps aside and has his own lane even more so. So he still has a publisher, but he's making his own, building more fans and backers for it. I wish I remembered his name. I'm not really good at remembering names, but it was just in the news, and I'm sure you could type it in for the Kickstarter, like most recently with Writer, who just did that. And back to my comic mentor, Todd McFarlane, that did his Spawn. People just like the amount that he made, it made sense, because that's what he's creating, and at the end of the day, he creates content that's well polished and published, and he deserved it. And this even goes for people who are starting off. If your material is well polished and a good story and explains, your people will follow that. Your followers will come and support that. They will believe in what you create. And it's 100%. But if you're having the mindset that it has to be like this and I have to follow, you're going to be waiting there. You're going to be sitting there at that bus stop, and you're going to be, looking over and expecting when is that, bus number 9 going to come over and going to give me my shot. And it's that. And we have to educate more people in the sense of like not looking at this type of creator is on this pedestal and platform, and though they're cool, but guess what, they put on their pants just like everyone else. And in those guys that are creator owned, they just like, the work, they might have to do more work, and it's true, but I would rather understand more of that instead of just being one-sided and having people say we'll do this for you, because how long does that last? And you get people telling you what you have to do and this and that. And if you're creator owned and you're making this content, you have a better understanding that. But I just wanted to do an audio of that today, and just like, hey, sky's the limit of trying different platforms, rather it be in form of paper or animated or something in like the NFT world. I'm gonna do a audio podcast on that one too, and just talking about like just having these different formats of creating content, as you should always be making stuff. And in that, me making my creator own, I'm just really happy with it. I'm happy that I get to get up and create my own work, and it benefits me to be that it's who I am. It's like how Gene says from Bob's Burger, it's who I am. And I remember, and this always like echoes in my brain when I work in the morning, and I get up and I work from home. I get up, I make my bed, I clean up, to go to the bathroom, everything's dressed, and I dress as if I'm going to work, and I go over to my drawing table. And I remember in like, it was like not a social studies class, but a social classroom, where we just talked about where we want to be in our future. And when the thing that I flat out said is, I want to roll out of bed in my boxers at my drawing table. And I get up and all that routine, get up, clean up, make my bed, get dressed and everything, and have my coffee and my drawing table. And I think about that, and echoes in the back of my head that I said that when I was 14, 15 years old. And I saw it now that that's what I want to do. I want to just be making artwork. And not that I have to travel far, which I'm fine with, but in this day and age, even it goes back to this, needing, you could work remote. You could just work at home and stuff like that. Not to say that you shouldn't go out and you need air. As an introvert, I still make my time to get out there. So, it's pretty zany, crazy. I don't know what those words are, but it's interesting that you could be able to make a product and get someone excited about it, and then you get to mail it out to them. And I think that's cool. And I think that if you required that you think you need a big publisher or whoever, you don't. You could have that audience support your brand, that awesome fan base. And I always give a shout out and thankful for everybody that loves and supports my work as a little art, and who loves Alley Cat. Alley Cat is just something that he's my alter ego that I would love to be, and he just tells it as it is in his style. It's like the Joe Cool, like the and Charlie Brown. But keep creating your content. Always see that your audience can be, see that you're making something and not needing it to be, how it's being handled. And if there is a bigger publisher or someone that wants your work, there has to be something that's going to give you value back, whether it be in the form of money or opportunity. And to have that opportunity and to use your own platform and the tools that you have, that's a win-win. But if you have everything that's like, we're going to sign you, but you can't show your work, or you can't use your work ever again in these other platforms, it just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense in this day and age. It really doesn't. It should be like, if you're using your name and that's what they're buying, your brand, then you should be able to have something that you get to do on the side, kind of. I don't know. It sounds kind of wacky right now, how I'm just saying right there, but I just see that though people could work with big publishers, and that's again always awesome and it's great, but if you could have your own product, that's something to, and to be able to get it out to the consumers. We're in this day and age where it's possible. You could put your artwork or your music online and you could reach an audience, get people across the country, across the world. It's just what it is. Speaking of like technology, I was thinking about like how when I started off, I needed a printer and I needed a scanner, and I had to have a light box, and I had to do all these things. And now I pretty much just work off an iPad Pro, and you don't need to, I still draw traditionally on paper and using paints and Crayola and marker and stuff like that. And now everything's just, you get up and go, and all that kind of mirrors what it was back in the day, needing 10,000 I'm just throwing out that number, 10,000 numbers of printing to make a quota, where now it's just print on demand. You could print like one or a minimum amount that to get to consumers. And when you have a printer that offers that service, it just makes sense. And people want that visual and that fantasy, and I as well too. But in reality is, what can you do to get to there? Are you going to sit down and wait, or are you going to make it till you get there? Or what is that, fake it till you make it? Because I don't really want to say fake it, because you're doing it. You get up, you put in the hours, you stay up later, or you work on it before your other work you have to do, or your weekends or something. But it's there. You should definitely make that. And this is the perfect time. It's the perfect time to make creative content, and you can get your work out there. It could be on a keychain, a button. I'm just looking around at all my products that are on different things that Alec gets on. He's on a cup, he's on a notepad, he's on a button pin, on a book bag. It's like unbelievable how all these things that you can do right now. And I just think right now a lot of it is there's not enough people to see that and hear about it. And if we could talk more about that, I'm pretty sure a lot of more people will get into that. So this audio is going to be a bit shorter than the other one, but again, it's one of those things where I don't make podcasts on the regular, but I really wanted to talk about this is perfect time just to be creating content. And print on demand is out there, and you do have to do your research. You do have to do the legwork. It is work as it is. It's not going to come easy to you. But you really have to believe in it. And like I said, that the 15-year-old Lyra Art said that he was going to be rolling out of bed as a kid by his drawing table, and he's doing it. It just was like when that manifesting of seeing that. And I didn't know what it was I was going to draw, but I knew I wanted to just work and do that. So I'm going to keep this one like short. Keep making content, create, be excited about what you make, believe in yourself and your projects, be humble and grateful for what you create, have a purpose of it, pass the plug, share let people know, hey, they could do that too, because we all need. It's all encouraging, and I know a lot of us guys out there, and I say guys and girls, is revealing secrets, and I don't think it's a secret. I think people should be able to hear that. Yeah, there were mistakes. So when I did my printing with Amazon, they rejected it 17 times before the 18th time they approved it, and when it got approved, and my school picked up the first stack of books. It was crazy cool to see a barcode on there, and I know it sounds silly, but I had my own book out there on Amazon. So Alley Cat's everywhere now. So let's keep going at that. Let's be creative. Let's make stuff. Be motivated and create. I'm Alero Art. You guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and all that fun stuff. And again, it goes back to that thing where it's like, this day and age, you could reach more people with this technology and what's just called the interwebs. But yeah, you could find me there, and I have my aleroart.com, and you could find my Amazon author page on there too. Again, I have products that I'm going to be working on, and I have creator-owned content that I'm going to be working on where I want to talk more about. Let's just keep at it, and I hope everyone has a good one. Guys, take care, be well. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, peace out. Alero out. Bye.